Welcome, everybody, to the news segment. It is January 7th, 2023. My name is Ken. Thank you so much for joining me and our team here with Wendy, Robert, and Nick. Let's see what everybody's drinking for this segment of Better on Draft, which, of course, is recorded after every interview. We go live on Friday, 7:15 p.m. Eastern. Starting next week, although it is a Saturday today, but normally Fridays. We will be live next week with Schlafly, or however you say it. We'll figure that out before they come onto the show.
And about 6 days to figure it out.
In 2 weeks, we're bringing in the man, the myth, the legend of Metro Detroit, especially when it comes to NA drinks. Ashley Price of Metropolitan Valley will be coming on to talk about his brand new venture, which is already over a year old. Talk about NA, Dry January, and all that fun stuff. So let's go around and see what everybody is drinking, starting with Wendy. Wendy, what do you got?
Well, I have a Trogs Mad Elf. Just want to throw that out there, Trogs, in case you want to come on the show.
That's all. Usually there's more than one drink. I'm not used to people just saying I just got one to drink. Speaking of those who drink two drinks at once, Double Fist and Nick, what do you got over there?
Well, I finished the s'more stout, and now I just moved over to that Shiner Bock that I told you guys earlier on this evening, and it's still good.
Is that from when they sent it to us?
Yeah, it Jesus, is. Yeah,
Nick.
Yeah.
Robert, what do you got over there?
I've got myself. Hold on. Oh yes, I'm not on mute. I was actually checking to make sure I was not on mute. I've got myself a can of Untitled Arts chocolate milk dark brew. Steadily looking for. I saw someone had a picture of the s'mores, and I'm now going to be desperately looking for some of that, as this is my last can of the chocolate milk dark brew.
You're muted, Ken.
Yeah.
Oh, have I been on mute this? Oh, no, I mute because I was opening a can of beer. And I didn't want to hear the pitch-ka-ching sound that everybody loves to make in front of the microphone. Because I feel like I might be going hard tomorrow night to either celebrate or be sad for the end of the Lions' crazy season. I have got a Harpoon Open League right here, which is a NA beer of theirs, their hazy IPA. As well as we started with the birth of the Fat King, and I will end the night with the death of the Fat King from Loaded Dice Brewing. Utilizing my new, and now that I figured out how to work it a lot better, Draft Top. I have opened up the top, and I did not make that much of a mess as I did earlier. But as always, with the second segment of the show is the news segment. Let's go around and see what everybody wants to talk about this week. And I am going to start with Nick. Nick, what is your article for today?
Well, what if I told you guys that the U.S. Department of Energy was going to use one of its laboratories to try and make beer better for one local community in New Mexico? If I were to say that, what would you guys initially think?
I don't know. Why is it New Mexico? Why not Ypsilanti?
Well, because Los Alamos National Laboratory, which was established in 1943 during the Manhattan Project, is now going to be diving into the beer industry, at least try to help make beer better for some of the local breweries in New Mexico. They are diving into the industry to try to make beer better, and by removing what they're calling microalgae from large volumes of culture using a process called low energy ultrasonic separation. Even as an engineer, I still have no idea what it is. It sounds complicated, but it's supposed to be a very cheap method of, as well as actually low energy consumption as well, to try to get those little micro pieces of algae or any kind of bacteria, so to speak, from a beer, and removes it completely from a large batch of beer, basically. They have used this method with other stuff, but they have used this approach on beer, and it actually has been showing some very, very good results in trying to make beer a little bit more cleaner than what it was prior. Now, some of the breweries in the state of New Mexico have jumped into this, including Ex Novo in Corrales, New Mexico. They have partnered with Los Alamos and the Department of Energy to help with this. So new technology, an existing technology used in energy, but now we're starting to see it used in making beer a little bit more cleaner, maybe taste a little bit better. What are your guys' thoughts about this?
I guess my first thing is I'm expecting them to have either make a beer or open a brewery that is going to be named after Oppenheimer, because it just seems to be fitting that they're going to do that.
You mean Hoppenheimer?
And call it Hoppenheimer.
I literally saw Wendy like sigh in disgust from that comment. If you're not watching the video on YouTube, go to YouTube right now and just rewind to the part where I say that, and you could just see Wendy's face just be like so sad, like part of her died from that comment. I feel like, I'm sorry.
I mean, it could just, if you want to take it one step further, that, it should have like a tagline of just saying this beer drops the bomb on you, and just, it would be perfect. It would be perfect. I'm definitely curious to see, I guess the thing that I would have to see myself is that I would need to, if I don't taste a difference, do I care? Like, no.
Yeah.
Does it replenish my microalgae? I mean, what does and provide any? Doesn't provide anything for me. I don't care. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little. Being an engineer, technology fascinates me. I think it's fascinating that they're using that the U.S. Department of Energy is starting to get into this a little bit. So I'm very fascinated. But I guess to your point, Rob, I mean, if it doesn't do a whole lot, if I say, Shiner Bock, for example, if it still tastes like this right now, then who cares, right? Does that mean that my beer is going to go up $1 more? I mean, maybe if I go through that, but if we're not sacrificing quality and taste, and if it's actually going to be improved upon, then I guess I don't see why not to do it at this point.
And I mean, if it takes the beer down $1, then fuck it, taste the savings. I don't know.
I mean, you can that extra $1
takes the beer down $1. Lord knows we don't need it to go up $1 at this point.
At this point, the way everything has been going with, we've gone from aluminum shortage to CO2 shortage to, we haven't had a hop shortage, but I mean, we just keep having these different shortages that keeps bringing prices up, that, would hope that it's something else that brings the price up.
Well, just so you guys know, I am definitely not original, because apparently the Manhattan Project Beer Company has a Hoppenheimer, and Bathtub Row Brewing Co-op has a Hoppenheimer, and Half Pints and Brew Republic.
Bathtub Row,
yes. Bathtub Row, the famous Bathtub Row Brewing Co-op out of Los Alamos, New Mexico. So we're going full circle. Are they really famous? Absolutely no idea. Okay. They have 8,000 check-ins on Untappd. I don't know how many, like how old they are, so if they're like brand new or not.
3,700 likes on Facebook, 4,000 followers.
Yeah, they might be a little new, but they can still be famous for their Hoppenheimer IPA. Yeah.
Little guy, hey, and you know what? If we've learned one thing about this show, the little ones are always the most surprising.
As long as the beer it tastes good, and if it makes it necessarily healthier, or it makes it like there's I guess the question is, like, if you're going to do it, why? Is there benefits to it for me financially? Is there benefits to it? Health? Is it benefits to it? Like more jobs? Like what is the benefit of this? And I think that's really going to make me decide whether I care about it as much or not. I just don't know. I obviously, the Department of Energy is investing in it, and of course, if the government's going to invest in it, there's got to be money in it. So I don't know if it's money for them or money for us.
So going a little bit further, this will if this technology is implemented on a grander scale within the breweries itself, it's supposed to save time and labor. So maybe something in the canning process, maybe in the actual brewing process. Maybe they can do turnaround a little bit more faster. Get to brew the next big batch of something. So without really a lot of specifics, it's kind of hard to say. But if a brewery is saying time and labor, where obviously we've had people say it takes weeks to brew something and get it ready for consumption to the public, I mean, if it trims a couple days out or a day or two out, then why not?
I mean, we talk to brewers about making lagers and how they don't have the time or the space to make a lager. What I guess pipe dream. What if something like this cut the process of making a lager by a week and a half? I mean,
I think that would probably attract more people to
brew
do
lagers.
Yeah. I mean, how many breweries have we had on the show that say that they would like to, but just don't have the time to do that? Probably a good lion's share, I'd say. No pun intended that we're going to be talking about the Lions maybe next week after tomorrow night's game. I don't know.
Saw that coming.
Yes, it's Saturday, by the way.
It is Saturday. We are recording this. The show will still come out Monday, so you'll all know if the Lions are in the playoffs or not by then. Wendy, what's your article for today?
So I have a couple of things that I was looking at, but I think that I chose to go with the top 6 trends in industry trends to watch in 2023 from 750 Daily. We always like to look at the beer trends early on in the year, so I thought I would see what they had to say. The first thing was that consumers seek value in beer, in bulk beer, and higher alcohol levels. So where we have been saying for the last few years that we think people are looking for a lower ABV, they're now saying that consumers are going to be seeking value in getting higher alcohol levels. Do you guys think that's true? What do you think?
Is this saying, because the comment is consumers seek value in bulk beer and higher alcohol levels. Is it saying like an ABV per dollar? Consumers will start seeking brands that deliver the most bang for your buck. So I assumed like ABV per dollar.
Per dollar.
Yeah, we talked about this years ago on the show, and this is like back in the me, Rob, Nick, and Dan days. So even like pre-Matt Bush, and talking about how people would go to a bar and purchase the highest ABV beer or calculate like the most drunk you can get for the least dollar. Because their goal is to get drunk. Like, I just don't agree with this. I don't think we're going to see people who are looking for drunk per dollar. As much as like, early 2000s drinking culture, which involved, drinking the lowest quality beer to play beer pong or anything like that. Like, I feel like the culture has shifted to where I still think people are going to look for big beer, but not big beer for buck.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. I mean, I don't see how. I don't know. It's just very weird that people would look at it like, I don't know, kind of like grocery shopping in a way, where there's just like you when you go grocery shopping, you see the price of something on the shelf, and it will tell you how much it costs per ounce. And like, no, I don't feel like anyone is really there to drink craft beer and do the math and just say, okay, so this is going to cost me, $2 per percent. Yeah, this should get me fucked up. I'm gonna have this one. It's like I'm in it for. I want the taste. I want everything to be on point with the beer. And if it happens to be 13%, then fuck it happens to be 13%. I'm not looking at the cost and how much that's going to cost per ABV, because I don't care. It goes back to, you like it, it's a good beer. I don't care about the price.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think people they're going to buy what they want to buy. They're not going to try to break down this is what it's cost per ounce. I don't think craft beer drinkers do that. So if it's going to cost $20 for a bottle of Bourbon County, then they're going to do that. Or if it's going to cost $15 for a Dirty 30 of Ham's Light, they're going to do that too if they want to do that. Rob's favorite beer,
Shit, I'm sitting here paying $15 for a 4-pack. I'm paying per negative ABV right now.
I honestly think it's based on the age again. We talked about that in the past, that we did that kind of stuff. We're at an age now where we're not necessarily doing that. So I would like to see us actually put some type of question out on our Facebook page saying, hey, is this something that you're looking for? Because I'm interested to see what other people besides us of different ages say. Because, back in my 20s, yeah, that's what I did. Like, we would go to the bar and you could either get a $5 pitcher or you could get a $5 Long Island iced tea. And the Long Island iced tea was almost the same size as the pitcher. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that it depends on the age, and I'd be interested to see what people said.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the next one was breweries will trim I'm sorry, I can't read at this point. Will trim SKUs and focus on specific styles. Are we agreed that that's the trend that we're seeing so far?
I feel like we're kind of seeing that now, to an extent.
Because there's so many SKUs that are already out there. I always, when I think of breweries having SKUs, I always seem to go straight to Odd Side, because they have a lot of SKUs for a lot of products. And while I've seen places kind of skim down, I don't necessarily know if Odd Side really has. They some, but they have so many that
I feel like though that Odd Side has a really good couple of base products that they're able to use to
what are Odd Side's
add
base
other
products?
SKUs. Well, the dank juice, they've got a million different flavors of dank juice. So your base product is the original dank juice. And then their seltzers, they've got a million different flavors of the seltzers. And then the fruit sickle. It's a million different flavors of the fruit sickles. So they're able to expand on that base product by adding different flavors in there. So their SKUs are crazy because they have products that they can diversify into different flavors.
But I also feel that they can only sell so much. There's got to be a point where there's pink grapefruit is not selling as well as cream soda.
But they don't do it all the time, though.
But are you technically scaling back on SKUs if you're replacing a SKU with a different SKU?
No.
If you're replacing grapefruit for peach pomegranate, you're just replacing it. You're not eliminating it. So I disagree with you guys. I don't think that they're going to cut back on SKUs and focus on specific styles. No, I think breweries are going to continue innovating and just replacing the SKUs that they have for a different SKU.
I can see that. I don't know. It's just there's a lot out there.
What else is in the article, Wendy?
All right. So number 3 is breweries reclaim carbon dioxide in the face of supply chain distributions. So there are all these different things coming out about how that they can reuse their carbon dioxide. Julia Hurst, who was on the show, actually said the carbon dioxide shortage will cause innovation to grow as brewers look for ways to solve gas supply availability and lessen dependence on delivery. She was actually on our show.
Yep.
I don't remember which episode. So yeah, that's one of the trends is that they're going to look for ways to figure out how to reuse carbon dioxide instead of purchasing new every time.
Well, I think there was a big thing when we had Kim Brisson-Lutz on from Maui Brewing, who talked about their innovations of recycling carbon dioxide and, capturing carbon dioxide within their system so that they can use it without necessarily having to purchase it or limit their need to purchase it, which is good for them because obviously whatever they want to purchase costs a lot more simply because they are in Hawaii and not on the mainland, where there's a lot of purchase and sale. So I guess the comment was breweries reclaim carbon dioxide. Yeah, sure. I think more people are going to do more things to adjust. I mean, that's what craft brewing does. They adapt.
Yeah.
They adapt to how that's how the Michigan Brewery Map app started. If you guys recall the initial reason of the Michigan Brewery Map app, the two big filters that we wanted everyone to use was breweries that sold to-go beer because you couldn't drink inside, and breweries that had patio seating. Those are the two most used filters within our system. Now things have changed since 2 years ago when we launched the app, but that was why we did it, was so that people knew where they can go get to-go beer, growlers, cans, howlers, etc., and where they could still drink outside, like Confluxity, because they had that massive amount of like igloos and the covered patio and heaters and stuff. And I only used that because I went to Confluxity in January 2021, and that place was packed wall to wall for COVID. COVID spread out, packed wall to wall. 6 feet.
You get it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they can get in trouble anymore. Might have been a little bit loose. What else is in there?
So number 4 was global crisis for more local beers. And their whole point in that was that people are going to start using more local sources for their beer. One of the things that they used as a reference was the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia. The fact that the German crops dropped around 20% while Czech yields fell more than 40% from 2021, which will lead breweries to look closer to home for more raw materials. What do you think? Do you think that people are going to go more local, or do you think they're still going to try to keep buying stuff from across the pond?
I mean, I kind of feel like why not go? There's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of places around here that love to celebrate that they use local resources. So, I mean, I would think that people would want to, and I got to think that with using the bigger resources, that here we are in a situation where it's tougher to get those resources. That I think it's kind of like, I don't know, it kind of feels like one of those things where you need to go local so that you can let the global supply replenish itself. And if you want to go back to global, you can. But hey, you've got this local stuff that you're using that, might be for the better, in perpetuity.
There is things that you can get local and things that you can't. You can get barley, rye, wheat, all that stuff locally. You can get some hops locally. You can get, many hops, at least within the United States. But there are some hops, like New Zealand hops, of course, where you're going to get them. New Zealand, you can't really grow because it's all a lot of food-based product is based on where you're going. Do I want Michigan growing avocado? No. That's just, but do you want Mexican grown cherries? No. like these are the things that you have to give and take when you're dealing with wanting to buy local, but there are plenty that you can do still local. And if you guys have never been, great place to go. They do co-opt their beer from Mothfire. But Bloom Meadworks over in downtown Ann Arbor, which is over by Blue Tractor, another great place, especially for happy hour. But they recently posted that 85% of their spend went to Michigan-based businesses. So everything that they purchased to build, their mead came from Michigan-based products. And I think that's something that benefits everyone, because when you continue the cycle of money within your community, that dollar goes a lot further and it helps a lot more people, and it creates a better economy within our state and our country. Whereas when you buy something on, say, like Amazon, that just kind of goes to Amazon and then you never see it again. So that's why a lot of people, when they talk about buying local, that's what they're talking about. You're buying local because you're investing within your community. You're investing so that Rob's 800 foster kids can go to dance school or, decide to do a project on sushi as an excuse to go eat sushi. As if you guys, that's not a random thing. The YouTube page, there is a thing behind them that talks about the chemistry of sushi.
Yes.
So I'm a huge buy local fan for just that reason. Like, I would rather know that whatever I'm buying is helping some kid down the street go to school. But I remember probably, God, it was a long time ago. I'm not going to say how many years. I did a
5 years ago
brewery tour of Dragon Mead, and I asked about. It was at the time when the hop industry in Michigan was starting to be upcoming. You were starting to hear a lot more hops coming out. More breweries were using them. So I asked about it, and they said at their brewery they like to be. They're a little more pure in that when they do a German style beer, they like to use German wheats and German malts, and it kind of changed my view a little bit on the local, because I understand why they would want to do that, because the science of things, when you're a hop, you can have the same hop grow in 6 different places and they will taste different in 6 different places depending on where you get them. So I kind of understand the fact that they would want a certain hop from a certain place because of the taste. So I think that there's going to be, we're going to have to balance that, basically, the buying local and buying global, in order to make everything work with all the changes that have come up, is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a negative thing if you're buying German hops or German malt for your German beer. I think it's the decision when given the opportunity to buy local and you don't, is I think what's more important than anything. Like, we are going to be getting brand new Better on Draft glasses for everyone here, and we're going to be giving them away. And for me, like, all right, where am I going to buy them? And the first thing I did was I called up, T-shirts.beer, and I called up different friends within the industry that are local. And I'm not getting necessarily them from a Michigan place right now, but I'm getting them from someone that is local, small, and the money will go, I'm paying for what I'm paying for. And sure, you're going to pay a little premium because you're not going to Sticker Mule, or you're not going to one of the major conglomerates that can afford it, but you also know that money is going to go towards, someone who is going to benefit from it, as opposed to, lining the pockets of a higher manager or a structure or anything like that. I'll get off my high horse because I'm sounding a little narcissistic.
That's okay.
By the way, if you guys didn't notice it, that's what Logus called me in the Ellison interview that I was laughing about. He was calling me narcissistic in a jokey manner.
No.
Obviously.
Nothing's ever about you.
Don't say that.
Ow.
Just had to throw that out there. Anyways,
Yikes.
so the next one, there's only 2 more points here. Beer merch and variety beer packs offer sales opportunities. So, and I love the fact that, and I just want to throw this out here because I think we'll all agree that we like a variety pack every now and then. But the very last paragraph in this section says the most wonderful beer of the year variety 12-pack from Trogs Independent Brewing includes 6 different beers, and customers are encouraged to combine Grand Cocoa Chocolate Stout and Dreamweaver Wheat with the Madoff Holiday Ale. So even Trogs is even in
triple blend.
Trogs is even in my article today. I just want to point that out.
I mean, I feel like we do like variety packs. We have quite a few that are here. Probably most notably the Rochester Mills 12 Days of Christmas, 12 Beers of Christmas. I will say that usually with that pack, I do get a little upset because there'll be one in there that is just, I mean, they're all pretty decent beers. There just always will be one that I wish I had more of and don't want to get a whole pack to have to do it again to just get that one beer. But I mean, it's a great way for people who are, who are new to craft beer or getting back into craft beer to find out where their tastes are and find out what they like and what they want.
You know what I miss is summer camp.
From Sierra Nevada?
The collaboration of collaborations was summer camp, and what they presented and provided, because that was, if I'm not mistaken, a 12 or a 24 pack beer that was just so good. Different styles, different beers, different brewers, different collabs. But in the same sense, the way you mention it, Rob, always reminds me of how Kunin would do their winter solstice release, where it would have 4D in it, but then it would also have their Icebox and 2 other beers, and people didn't want those other beers. They just wanted 4D, or they just wanted something else. But Kunin would never sell.
I should have wanted that Icebox, man. That
Icebox is so good.
Oh my god!
But Kunin would never sell their beers in cases of the beer. They would only sell it in the mix pack. And I think to myself, and I wonder, what, as much as it's different beers, like, I don't want to buy a 12 pack of turtle chocolate milkshake stout. Like, I want to buy the whole thing. But have you guys ever been to, or like as Rob said, he wants to buy a case of that one beer. Have you guys ever ran into that where you've wanted to buy just a case or a 6-pack of that one specific beer and nothing else, and you just can't? Nick?
Yes.
Wendy says
yes.
Yes.
I can't remember what, but I know I've had that situation.
Well, I'm sure one of those 12 Days of Milkshake Stout packs that you get.
Yeah, there you go. Good point.
Or even one of those advent calendars from Costco where there's such a good beer, and you look at that beer and you can't buy that beer anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there were so many Hellas's this year. I couldn't take it anymore. Every other fucking beer was a Hellas. Not even every other. It was like every 3 out of 4 beers was a Hellas.
I mean, I was just going to say, there was the beer that I didn't even buy when you guys were on with the Second Self Brewing episode. And there was the cans of the lemon pepper beer. And every time I saw a Second Self can up there, I was like, damn, I wish I had another one of those. Like, that was an absolutely amazing beer.
Yeah, there was a Sierra Nevada one that I really liked that beer, but you could only get it in the variety pack.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to drink all the other Sierra Nevada beers in order to drink that one that I liked. I was trying to look it up to see, because I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. But it was over the summer. It was after they were on the show.
Well, Wendy, we've gone a lot. We've got one more. What's the final one?
Tap rooms will become attractive, interactive hubs.
Like, are we having like Tupac holograms? Or
No, like people are going to hang out again. Is basically what that means. Is people are going to hang out again. They say people are dropping masks and making plans with family and friends, seeking compelling places to gather that meets the needs of young, old, and every age in between.
I mean, look, if I'm going to a brew pub or a brewery, I'm not bowling. Let me just say that much.
I went too far. I went too far with interact. I went way too far with interactive. I was way. I was way off.
Yeah. I mean, give me a board game, give me Uno or something, and then I'm good. I don't need anything crazier than that.
I will say that and I mean, I see that in both of my trivia locations. I mean, when I get the Ferndale project, there are people who are there playing Monopoly or playing Uno, or I mean, God forbid, Settlers of Catan, which I don't like.
Oh,
I don't
wait,
even.
I'm like, it's like an 8-hour game.
That's what I'm saying, is that they don't get through that game.
That's money for the.
Yeah. But they're there. I mean, when I get to Eastern Market Brewing, that somebody has already grabbed the Trivia Pursuit because they're kind of pre-gaming for when my game starts. But then there'll be other people who are playing like Battleship, and they love to get together and be at a brewery and play games and hang out. So, I mean, definitely if the breweries haven't done it already, get your Parker Brothers and your Milton Bradley and stock up on that shit, because these people are coming out there to play.
So yes, I 100% agree with that. People are coming out more and more. Every time I go to a brewery, they're just full. Like everybody's there. I have to side note just for 1 second there though, because you talked about the Battleship.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that worked the other day was talking to me. And while he was talking to me, I heard psh, and then like an explosion noise. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And he's like, I'm sorry, my daughter and I are playing Battleship. There's a Battleship app where when you make actually
why not
make your move,
exactly.
It makes the noise. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like, that's amazing. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt off that, but I was like, I want to play that game now. Like, somebody needs to play Battleship with me.
So when Julie and I, my girlfriend, when we go to breweries and we brewery hop, like we have a travel Scrabble that we bring. We'll always bring like a crossword. We have a few different fun little not like couples party games, I guess you could say. Like we have this one with like couch skeletons. That's like a strategy card game. It's a lot of fun. For me though, I don't want to be like the opposite, but I feel like I'm going to, because for a brewery, like, yes, going to a brewery is a lot of fun, but I kind of, when I go out now, I want to go out and do something, because I can get any beer I want at Total Wine or the local party store like a Zatuna Liquor in Rochester Hills, just south of M59 on Rochester Road. I can go to a brewery that I like North Center Brewing over in Northville, Michigan, just south of Baseline Road. But if I want to go to, like, say, why is Detroit Beer Exchange such a hopping place? Because they have a shtick. They have something that's, cool. Why are foaling houses just popping up everywhere? And not even the fact that you have to go there to play foaling, like to play foaling, to go foaling.
I would say go foaling.
Go foaling, yeah. You don't have to go there to go foaling. Like, you're not paying a premium very often for those beers. You're just getting in there. So if you came up with something that would be entertaining or different or fun or, it's different for me because Nick said, you don't want to go to a place and go bowling because, Nick and I bowl. We bowl very often. So we want to bowl. We don't want to just throw a ball down a lane. But if you gave me candle pin bowling or duck pin bowling or even Canadian 5-pin, like if you gave me something different that I can't get in a normal experience, Wendy's saying no.
What? You just named like 4 different things that I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
They're either
They're different
Canadian
versions of
or
bowling.
very, very regional, basically. Like
So,
candlepin and duck
It's
pin
different
is
than
New
actually
England.
actual bowling, but
Yeah,
It's
so candlepin, duck pin, and Canadian
5-pin,
bowling
Canadian 5-pin, yeah.
use a lot smaller of a ball and then different pins
Different pins.
versus the standard, like, you know.
so you wouldn't be as set on winning and competitive at playing that game as
Would
bowling?
would I be competitive or set on winning? Yes. Would I care if I suck? No.
No.
That's the
okay. I got there is
With how difficult candlepin bowling looks, I honestly wouldn't care if I sucked. But I would be trying to win, but I wouldn't think one way or the other if I sucked at it, because I'd be looking down the lane like, how the fuck am I supposed to hit this?
I would try to bowl. If I were bowling candlepin, I would try to get a higher score than I ever could get in regular bowling, in normal bowling. That's what I would try to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I would try to do.
As growing up, like there's I used to be super competitive in a lot of things, but when it comes to things that I have no control over, like Nick and I, we play guts frisbee. I play a lot of disc golf. I'm not really good at either of those yet. When it comes to the point where I'm going to play, I'm not really caring too much how well or not well that I do, because I'm there for the experience. I'm there to have fun. I'm there to socialize. The same with bowling. I know I can't throw a football worth of shit, so I know it's going to be, a terrible back and forth. But that's why Matt loves those full-on shuffleboards. The full-length shuffleboards, not like the small ones with like bumpers and stuff, but when it comes to a sport or a game or something like that, where sure, yes, I'll be competitive, but if I lose, I don't care. It's kind of like how as bringing it all the way back around, when Julia and I play Scrabble, like, we do fairly well, but she'll always, like, near the end just completely demolish me. But I'm like, I not necessarily my game, but I did my best, and that's all I can do. And when it comes to stuff that I am good at, like bowling, I can't bowl for fun, but I can suck at bowling and be okay with it. So when it's something that I've invested that much time and effort into it, I can't bowl for fun. Friday night music blasting and strobe lights and all that shit.
Geez.
I can't do that. Or some kid doing the gritty after getting like a 3 pins next to me on the lane. I can't do that. But
again, I have no idea what you just said.
the gritty is a type of dance, like a celebration.
I'm gonna look that up later.
Yep, no problem. That's the floss, Nick.
I know.
Nick is doing all the wrong things.
Another dance that you'll see 12-year-olds on Saturday Night Glow Bowling doing.
Yeah. Go on,
I'm going to derail this just for a second and say, so Friday night, we didn't do the show. We went did our own thing. And I was going to a show at the Magic Bag. So we got there early. So we went across the street to Brooks Brewing Company. Amazing beers, by the way. You should go check them out.
Yep.
But when we got into the tap room, this man walked in and he had 2 of the biggest dogs I've ever fucking seen in my life. They were amazing. They looked like bears and they were super friendly and they wanted to hang out with us. So he sat down next to us and his dogs like literally were at our feet wanting their attention. We spent the night telling jokes with him. The bartender came over and was telling us stories and like we were having conversations with all kinds of people. And the girl that I was there with, I was like, do you see now why I like to sit at the bar when I go to a brewery? Like I just had all these interactions with like 5 or 6 different people just by going and sitting at the bar and having a beer. And she's like, yeah, I get it. I understand what it is. So I I definitely agree that tap rooms will become attractive, especially to people who have been by themselves and they're not ready to go out and do all the crazy stuff. They don't want to go to shows and they don't want to be in a group, a ton of people, but going to a tap room is awesome, and sitting at the bar and chatting with people and having those kind of things happen, I think is a good way to break yourself back into just life in general outside of your house.
As I put a bow on it, as we'll get to Rob's topic, for me, as I think about it a little bit more, like, why did I love going out in the first place? Like, I never really went to bars that didn't have something else for me other than beer. I went to breweries just for beer, but at some point now, with all the beers that are available, the easiness of distro, with all the small distros, M4, Oath, etc., why am I going to these breweries? Why am I going to these bars? And I thought about it and I'm like, oh, wow, I used to go to this place because they had a fun jukebox, or they had a DJ, or they had a karaoke, or they had, I used to love going to Limelight. If you guys are familiar with Limelight over in Warren, I loved going to Limelight and playing on the pool table, because there was one pool table and a lot of people would go just to play on that one pool table. And you got to, meet people, as Wendy said. You get to meet these people, talk to the people, because you're not just playing pool and, everyone's silent. Like, you're talking, you're getting to know the person that you're playing, you're shit talking a little, but you're having a much bigger experience. And I think a lot of these places are looking for that. And there are places that are primed to be able to do it, like a Downey Brewing. And then there are places that aren't, like Dearborn, who are just, they only have so much space. But I think time will tell. But I think more places will be open for more experiences than just selling booze. Rob.
Yeah. So, obviously, we are 7 days into what many people consider dry January. But I came across an article that was essentially saying that dry January may actually make you feel worse. Obviously, we know it is something that's pretty much kind of hit mainstream for people who have overindulged over the winter holidays. But there is this belief or thought now coming from some in the medical industry that say that it might actually be hurting us a little bit, not too much, but still hurting us. So according to this one doctor, Dr. Preeti Daniel from the London Doctors Clinic, said the effect of stepping away from your favorite alcoholic beverages varies widely, with heavier drinkers experiencing more intense consequences. What she said was, as your body goes through withdrawal from alcohol dependency, you may experience slight dehydration and an inability to sleep soundly throughout the first few days of the month. Some symptoms may include restlessness, tremors, nausea, sweating, and anxiety. She also said that your liver generally needs 4 to 6 weeks of recovery after a period of heavy drinking. Therefore, it may take a whole month to fully experience the health benefits of dry January, such as an improved sleeping pattern and more radiant skin, which obviously, if it takes that long of a period of time, we've pretty much hit February. And for most people who are already going through dry January, February is going to be damp as fuck. So, however, another doctor, Dr. Michael Epstein, he's a Boston gastroenterologist. He previously stated that there's no science to support the idea that dry January is good for your liver. It noted that the enzymes responsible for breaking down alcohol in the liver are created by our body when needed. And he wrote that those who drink regularly can metabolize more alcohol than those who drink occasionally, because daily imbibers have livers with more of these enzymes. And that if you think you need to take a month off, you're either drinking too much during the rest of the year, or you have a guilty conscience, which I kind of feel like most of us may fall into that area. I don't know. But I guess I'm kind of curious with you three. With I feel like at least two of you have gone through a dry January. Just like, what are your feelings through those first few days and that first week of what it feels like being in dry January? I saw Nick nodding his head, so I was going to start with him.
I don't notice any difference. I'm only drinking 1 day a week at most, as it is. There's times that I have just the one drink a show sometimes, and I think, I don't know if that's just old age. I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Old age. Don't start that shit.
It took Nick a year to go through his advent calendar. Come on.
It did. But I disagree with this. I mean, there's people that, that drink and then they'll do dry January. We did dry January on the show, all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Did that make me feel worse? No. I don't. I think the doctor doesn't really know what he's talking about. People are... No.
Well, so here's the difference between, I guess, probably the people they're referring to who are going into dry January, and it's the people who, like we talked about a week or two ago on the show, back in our early 20s, how we would have a day of the week, and each day would go to a bar, and each day we would get drunk, and each day, like, we do not partake the way we used to, and I think if we did that today and then went through dry January, it would have that type of result. But for us, like you say, you drink, once a week. I'm more like I drink my one night I'm bowling, and I usually drink for the show. That's it. I'm not really big into going out anymore, and that's just more personal preference than anything. When it comes to this, I feel like this is for people who are, and it's weird to say, but who are alcoholics, who are people who need more than just dry January. They need dry rest of your life because they are unable to regulate the alcohol intake in them. And when I say alcoholic, it's not people who, you got drunk one night really bad because you didn't realize the ABVs of the beer or something like that. It's the people who do it every night, the people who can't manage themselves in the day without drinking, the people who are drinking because they're bored. Like, there are a lot of things that create alcoholics, and dry January is not a resolution for them. They need dry forever. And there are organizations out there that assist them, like Wellbeing has their own like recoveries and discoveries platform on Facebook for those people. But for us, for most of the people who listen to this show who regulate their beer intake very well because they care more about the taste, the flavor, not the ABV per buck, as we talked about earlier, I think that's more where this is going. That's my guess. I'm not a doctor, obviously. Don't even have a master's, let alone a doctorate. I mean, Wendy? I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but that's just what makes sense in my head. Like when I took...
No, I totally agree with that.
I took 7 months off last year when I was on... I think it's like a Lamisil pill, I think is what they called it, that fucks with your liver, therefore you can't drink. Like, for me, when I did that, like, I didn't have any better or worse sleep. I didn't have any better, like, I didn't gain weight, I didn't lose weight, which sucks, because usually they say when you stop drinking liquor, you lose a bunch of weight. Bullshit. I claim bullshit on that. Because if I would have lost weight during that 7 months, I would have been like, oh, but looks like better on draft is better on done. Thank you for the delayed response, Wendy. Your response, it just warmed my heart.
I was just thinking, plus it's all about you.
Oh,
I'm going to shut up now.
There it is.
We don't matter. No, just kidding. We know. Kidding. I know that we.
If only we were in studio, I could just mute you all and just be like, my show now.
You make me feel like I matter all the time.
Oh.
I totally agree with that. with what you're saying because there's time like over Christmas, I was so sick. I couldn't taste anything. I couldn't smell anything. I wasn't drinking beer. Like, I now, granted, I did do 3 days because I had a chug challenge on Facebook that I had to finish, but I was just picking like random stuff because I was like, I can't taste it anyways. And I would drink my 6 ounces and I would dump the rest and I would go to bed because like it wasn't that big of a deal. So I don't know that I would tell the difference in dry January or not. I definitely slow down in January. But I think I also slow down anytime that I feel like I'm going too hard at certain things. If I've been to a few things in a week or a month that I drink heavy, I tend to not drink after that because I know that I've put my body through stuff that I shouldn't. So I don't know.
Well, Rob, I mean, you've been going, I was going to say soft because that's the opposite of hard. You've been going fairly dry for the last few weeks. How have you felt?
I mean, the thing is that I've been relatively dry for the show. I haven't been completely dry like all the way. I guess you could say it's been a somewhat moist January. So,
no, we're not saying that it's damp.
I definitely have had some beers. I actually I was at shout out to my friend Aaron Sims. I got to go to his place earlier this week, and he had a bottle of Cybrogic's Beer Barrel Time, which is definitely one of the big whales that generally goes for about $300 a bottle. And we got to sip on that the other day. And so like I'm starting to like, even with that, and especially with, it's tough to not have beer at my trivia shows when they give me beer for free. So it's tough to kind of walk from that. But, I'm starting to kind of push more with just having the NAs now while I'm there, because just like I've had a lot, and I've definitely drank my fair share. And I feel like, for health concerns and that I need to just like stop having so much damn beer, and I need to bring the weight down. I need to be healthier because at the end of the day, I'm thinking about the family now. I mean, I'm older than all of y'all. I got kids, so it's
a lot of kids.
Apparently, I'm like fucking Vince Vaughn and Delivery Man right now because apparently I got all of them. But yeah, but I mean, I feel like even in like the like a week or so that I have nothing, I don't really feel much of a difference. I mean, I have sleeplessness anyway because I go to bed at 2 a.m. and I get up at 5:45. I mean, and this just goes right back to that when the kids go to school next week. I mean, of course I don't have a lot of sleep because I don't sleep. I got shit to do.
Well, we are basically right up against the 1 hour mark, which is how we cut this off. Great topics upon all. We will be back next week, live Friday, 7:15 p.m. Eastern, over on YouTube, on twitch.com, twitch.tv/BetterOnDraft, facebook.com/BetterOnDraft. Of course, find us on all of those social medias. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Untapped, friend us, TikTok, all those places. We're hopefully going to be using them more this year. That's our goal. That's our resolution, is to do that kind of stuff a little bit more and reach out to you guys. Be more inclusive. We appreciate you listening. No matter what you think of your beer, I think it's better on draft. Have a good night.
Peace.